What up, yo? It's your host, Eye2eye35, and hello, Ben Irwin420. This is going to be a reply to your video questions for Eye2eye about Noah. And I'm glad you posted some legitimate questions. If you have some questions, I can answer you for them logically in a way I've learned about. Your first question was, how do you explain the Mexicans, the Hawaiians, all the different races around the world? Like, if we came from, like, Noah and his family, how is it, like, we got all these different, all this so-called races, though I don't call them races, because that is an evolutionized group. I just call them people groups. But I think what's actually happened, like, you know, after a couple of hundred years after the flood, the Tower of Babel happened, and there were certain, like, you know, different people, like, they all looked different, like, already, because of Shem, Ham, and Japheth. The latest research has shown that Shem was the father of the Orientals, and Ham was the father of the Africans, and Japheth was the father of the Europeans. And, yeah, even Shem, out of the Orientals, came a tribe, even the Native Americans that migrated over a land bridge to North America when the water was still very low, and the ice caps hadn't melted yet during the last parts of the Ice Age. And so that's how the Native Americans from basically the oriental part of Shem came to North America, and the whole New World is populated by immigrants from somewhere else. And so the Tower of Babel is basically what caused, like, most of the races to sprout out all over the earth, and they had children, different looking people. I mean, it can all make sense in part of a biblical worldview. I mean, if you try watching, like, I'm not saying you should do it, but I recommend that, you know, watching a certain seminar by Ken Ham about one blood or so, how all races come from one couple, like we're all descended from Adam and Eve through Noah. And your second question was, how is the Somali people ended up on Hawaii? Well, I'm sure the word travel boat means something to you. I mean, way before Columbus, people like some European, like Roman soldiers, did sail across the Atlantic Ocean to America, for example, like way before Christopher Columbus. Christopher Columbus was not the first white man across the Atlantic Ocean to America. I'm sure there were other people. I mean, like I mean, real smart, travel-worthy people back then. It's quite possible. And if you're trying to think that there were different people in different parts of the world, no, I'm sorry. They all came from one man, Noah, and then they all repopulated the world and started traveling different places and so on. And then God decided to choose Abraham as to preserve a Jewish line, like to, you know, bring forth, like, to preserve the Christ line, in order to, like, save the world from sin and all that, but that's a whole different story. And you say, how is it possible that, like, if it just only came from 8 people to almost 7 billion? Well, it is, like, 7 billion right now. I mean, wow. Well, it is quite possible. Did it ever occur to you that space over 4,000 years, maybe 44 or 4,500 years, that is such a very, very long time. I mean, a year is such a long time, a month is a long time, a week is a long time, and a day even is a long time. It's possible for all these people who are living still over like 400 or 300, 200 or 100 years to have many families and children and spouses and so on. But did you know that back in 1800, there were only 1 billion people on planet Earth, and now we have 7 billion. It's just like 300 years later. And you say, oh, why are there many religions in the world? But they wanted to, like, you know, like, make sure this didn't occur. Well, I'm sure that Noah did not want that happening as much as God did. But you gotta understand that Noah wasn't able to live forever to tell the stories to his great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandchildren. He wasn't able to live as long as the former 900 years of age. He was only over to live over 400 years of age, and I mean over 600 years old. I'm sorry, I got a little mixed up. But people after the flood were still able to live very long time, but you gotta understand that we live in a world that filled with a lot of people that are easily fooled by this and that, anything that is untruthful or really not logical. I can say upon deeper research. And you understand the Bible even already told us the heart is deceitful above all things and desperately wicked. And it even says in Romans, they did not like to retain God in their knowledge, so God gave them up to reprobate mind, to do things which are like inconvenient, not convenient, and so on. I mean, the Jews during the time of, the people of Israel, the children of Israel, like followed false gods many times in the Old Testament. I mean, just always, falling for lies, this and that. I mean, I'm going to have to personally say that being a Christian is not just about having a personal loving relationship with Christ. It's also about having the spirit of discretion in you. The Bible says, test everything. Is that right, or is this right? Do not be carried about with every wind of doctrine. Why there's so many religions? It's because people are easily fooled by making up their own hallucinated stories. And if you actually look at these religions, you can find that they're actually unscientific. And the Bible is the only book in the world that had proper scientific foreknowledge and upholds science twice. I can show you 2 verses in the Bible that uphold science. It's Daniel chapter 1 verse 4 and 1 Timothy 6:20, I believe. But you understand all these religions profess a lot of crazy and sarcastic and unscientific things. But the Bible, you say, because there was no flood and it's just coming from a book. Well, I want you to understand that the Bible is not fairy tales. I'm trying to discuss this in another video, but the Bible is not a fairy tale. It's filled with history, geography, genealogy, biographies, and scientific foreknowledge and history and spirituality and stuff like that. It doesn't just talk about God. I mean, it's a history book, and it's been confirmed in many areas that its history is actually true and provides us more background of history that we didn't even know before. And P.S. I really want to Skype with you. I really do. And thank you for sending me some good, legitimate questions. And I hope this has been satisfactory for you, Ben. And yeah, and thanks for also saying TTFN Tata for now. I just got that from Tigger or whatever. I'm just trying to be funny or creative in my videos. But yeah, that's all I had to say. So, peace out. Jesus bless you, Erwin, 420. And I hope we can really Skype. And I'll see you later. Goodbye.